All right. So it's recording now. Excellent. So we're going to get started with 123Design. 123Design is a pretty cool program. We're going to download the software. We're going to make an account. If you've had Tinkercad, you're all good to go on that. Then we're going to get started. Again, it's like Tinkercad. It's made by Autodesk in that it's free and you can use it. It's a step up. I would call 123Design in between Fusion and Tinkercad. Well, what does CAD really stand for? Computer-aided design. Who uses CAD? Automotive, aerospace, manufacturing, graphics, students like yourself, and so many others. It's really one of those skills that as you keep learning to do this, it will help you. If you go on to college to study to be in engineering, you're starting to lose CAD now, this will help you. You know, and the great thing about like learning CAD is it's like learning a new language, and that every language is a little bit different, but it still achieves the same similar goal. You know, you want to speak to another person in another country in a different language. In that new language, or programming. You're trying to write code. Every language is a little bit different, but it's same enough, right? Well, once you get better, like languages, once you get good at one CAD program, it's easier to learn the other. So this will help you with Fusion and other things. And it's free, it's easy to use, that's where we're going to go. So I want you to go to this site right here. And we're going to download it. You're going to have to download the PC or Mac version. So go ahead, tell me once you start getting it downloading. Do not download Mishmash, so don't pay for anything. It's nothing like that. Go ahead, let me know once you've got it downloaded. Well, I've got that. I'm going to show you something else. It's pretty cool. Oops, wrong one. I'm making that right now as we speak. Depends on your computer. If it's a relatively recent computer, download the 64-bit. If your computer is more than 3 years old, download the 32-bit. Make sure your parents know that you're downloading stuff. What do you guys think of this? That's the coolness of getting on the printers. Look on there. We're downloading 123Design. I'll put it in there for you one more time. Try to get here on time if you can. I know you're probably in other events, so I understand. I'm making this tonight. If you have a Mac computer, do the Mac download. If you're doing a PC computer, do the PC or Windows. Great, you're downloading now. We're doing this software right here. Remember, you PC, Mac, depending. You can also do an iPad. This should take you about 5 minutes. Allows you to ask you to change your computer. Say yes. You need to accept and install. Remember, make sure your parents know you're putting this on. It's very family friendly. When it asks you to download Mesh Mixer, don't say no right now. And then you're going to come to this, and it's going to ask you, sign in, join now, go premium, do not go premium. If you've got a Tinkercad account, sign in. Otherwise, join now. That if you're 13 and older, you can do it with your own email account. Make sure your parents know you're doing that. If you're younger than 13, use your parents' email. They got to approve it. Again, tell your parents you're downloading this CAD software. Raise your hand once you've got it to this point. Either you're signed in or you're set. That way I know. Cooper's got his hand up. Others, if once you get it, let us know. It's okay if it takes a little while. Folks, just raise your hand, let us know so we can get rolling on this. Raise your hand as you get it so we can get moving along. All right, we got a couple. Here's some questions. Let's see what that's about. I understand it's taking a while long. Is it just Iowa or is it Iowa and North Carolina? It's just Iowa, actually. So your odds are very good. You just got to get it in by Wednesday before class. All right? Just Wednesday before class. All right. Just send it in, put it on Edmodo so we get that score. All right, okay. All right, if you've got it. If it's not, well, all right, it's 8:20 now. It's always a tough part about getting software. So what I'm going to do at this point is, let's see, where are we on this? I'm looking at everybody, making sure where we got another question. Mine is download. I can't pull it up. You got to hit the start install, maybe might be your problem. I'm not sure why it wouldn't start up for you. Okay, we're getting more people here. John, let us know. Michael, let us know when you've got it so we can get rolling here. I will record this webinar, so if you're stuck while yours is uploading, recording, well, we'll go ahead and we'll get it squared away, all right? I mean, you can rewatch it, you'll have it. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty neat, especially if you've done Tinkercad. It's a nice, you go from that Tinkercad to this to the other ones. It's pretty cool. All right. For those people who have gotten down, you may be needing to make an account if you don't have Tinkercad. Again, email address if you're 13 years or older. If you're under 13, you got to use your parents. Use your Tinkercad. Join us is where you go if you've not. Sign in if you have an account. Make sure you're doing the free. You're not doing the premium or the starter pack. There's no money should cost you anything. All right. When you create your password, remember it has to have a letter and a number. Don't lose it. I can't help you. If you don't have it, I have no way of getting your password. Wouldn't want your password when. All right, when I open one, it says I have to download the installer. It's not done downloading. John, my guess is that's what the case is. Get it all the way to download. It might be downloaded, but just probably isn't finished quite yet. Okay. When we start a new project, this is what it's going to look like. You've got this workspace. Let me see. John says, but it opens and shuts down, says that. Well, John then let's either log off and boot back up. Make sure maybe you should be running a 32-bit. I'm not sure. Did you install a 64-bit or what kind of computer do you got, John? Install a figure computer. I installed the 64 and I'm using a 64. Well, John, the only thing I can suggest is we shut it all off, you boot back up, and you try it again. But it says I need a 32-bit. Then install the 32-bit. There's no sense in fighting with it, John. Okay? Go ahead and put the 32-bit on it. Not sure why. It's not going to really change your performance. We're not doing anything that's going to matter. All right, let's get started for everybody else. John, run the 32-bit. Let's see if we have better luck there. You're going to go into this workspace. If you click on this, it's going to be new, open. You can imagine open an object, insert an object, import an SVG. Remember, there's that SVG. That's a vector type graphic. Save a copy, export it, or send it to somebody else. 3D print it. We'll get to that down the road. All right, over here is a square. You click on this front left top, and then you have all these options underneath it. Okay. Jaden, it says the email's already used. You're signing up like a new user. Don't. You need to sign in. Don't sign up. Sign in, Jaden. If you click on these squares, it's going to change the views. So if I have this view, if I click up here, it'll change. Let me go ahead and bring up the software so you all can see it. So here's my view. Here's the front view. There's the view I see, orthoscopic. Left view, again, back here. Top view. But I always pick on the home to come home. All right? All right. Excellent. That way, Jane. All right, now. So again, right over here, folks, is where you new, save, 3D print, etc. You know, your undo and redo are right up there. Transform, we're going to get to that in a minute. But right now, I'm going to just pull a primitive. Don't worry necessarily how I pull that box and just click it in there. But watch, if I go to the top view, I'm going to see the top of this. Right, orthoscopic, left, back there again. You use that one a lot. Pan means the object moves for you. Orbit means you move, really, in relation to that object. To me, it feels that way. See how I'm... All right, and then pan, orbits. Okay, so those are the two you use. Zoom, mouse in, mouse out, mouse in, mouse out. Here's something that can happen. You're over here. Just click on fit. It'll bring you right around. Go ahead and try those things. Try using the mouse. Just go up to primitives. Drag it down and drop it in. Good job. That way have it open. Good job. What if we don't have an account? I still need to make one. What if we don't have an account? I still need to make one. Yes. You have to make an account. Tell your parents you're doing it, or ask them, make sure you're set to go with them. All right, now, once you've done this, raise your hands if you've done this square thing, that you can orbit it, you can pan it, you've got it to fit. Raise your hand if you've done that, please. All right, great. Okay, good, you've got that. Now, looking over here, let's look at materials and outlines. That gives you both this outline, the black, and the materials. If I just want materials, there's no outline there. If I just want outline, not surprisingly, all you see is the outline. Materials, outline. You found it right there. Go ahead and do that. Go over here to show, it'll hide it. Show, hide solids and materials. Show sketches, hide sketches. We're not getting the sketches right yet. That turns the grid on, off, leave the grid on. All right. All right. I put everybody's hand down. Once you've done those things, raise your hand. All right. Now, how'd you make the square? Again, I'm going to get rid of the square. I'm going to show you right now how to do the square. That's perfect for what we're about to do. If I highlight the whole thing, I'll delete it. Now, when I make a square, watch, folks. I'm going to go to primitives. I'm going to click on box. Now, before I click again, I'm going to go down to length down here. Last time I didn't even care about it. I'm going to type in 25, tab over, 15, tab over, 10. Now click it, and then move it wherever you want it. Again, let me show you one more time. Move that box back. I go into primitives, click on the box. I don't click anything. I go ahead and type in my numbers. In this case, again, I'm just making these numbers. It could be everything. This could be 35, 20, 15. So that'd be a box slightly different than this box right here. Okay? Make sure you can make a box like that. Then we're going to go through these things in a moment here. All right, let me know you made the boxes, guys, so we can get rolling on this thing, okay? All right, the next, let me go ahead. We're going to move this box over. I'm going to show you a new thing we're going to do here. Select the whole box like I did by grabbing the pointer, pardon me. Then we're going to click on move, but we're going to use these arrows. If you use this arrow, it's going to move right along the y-axis. Move this yellow arrow, oops, wrong arrow, right, this, I'm trying to get that yellow one right there. Move it along the x-axis, and then this up arrow along the z-axis. Make sure you move within the axes. All right, make sure it's either along the x, the y, and the z. Also, you can take it and you can spin it. How cool is that? Go ahead and try that. Okay. Okay, Sean, I'll go a little bit slower. Here we go. I select that. I select move. Click there. I pull it forward and back. I click here, go up or down. I click here. I go this way back and forth. All right. In terms of scale, all right, now let's go on to the next thing. Scale, let's look at this. When we hit scale, you can do uniform scale. So if you type in uniform scale, you type in 3, it's 3 times bigger. If I go 1, back to originally, if I do 0.5, it's going to be a little bit smaller. But that's along all the axes. Back to 1. If I do non-uniform, do 0.5, 1, 1.5. And I get this. Okay, so 0.5, 1, 1, 5. But if I decide I want to go back to just scale, so our uniform, and just make it 1 here. All I hit undo to get rid of it. All right. I'm not sure why you use hide all that much, because when you do that, end up undoing it to bring it back, it seems like. Material is kind of cool. If you go down to material and you get rid of apply overlay, don't put an overlay on it, then you can select this and it actually there's titanium. Pretty tough. Oak, walnut, cherry. All right, carbon fiber. Brushed metal. Here's our default. Okay, again, that was under materials. All right. Is this going at a good speed now, everybody? Good. Most people are saying yeah. All right, good. Now, this will give you dimensions. The thing about dimensions, it's there, and there you see 15, and if you look up, we'll give it. To get out of that mode, you have to click on that arrow, or it's just going to keep giving you dimensions, just to give you an idea. All right? So if there's top mode, so 35 by 20. Go back to that mode. Here's your left mode. Back there, here's your front mode. Doesn't really show too much there. There's right. I think it seems like top is best here. So that shows you what your dimensions are, and sometimes that's real useful. Once you want to get out of it, you have to hit that green arrow. I'm going to go back up here. All right. Now, you got that. You can export parts. You can send to Match Mixer, but we don't even have that installed. You can send it to be 3D printed, and then you can send it to Make. Make one 3D. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, so now we're going to take this. You're going to learn, there's something called Make 1, 2, 3D that you're going to learn down the road. All right, that's how we could do that first. Now the next thing we can do, this is a new feature, Adjust Ruler. And you can put that, out here somewhere like Tinkercad. And it's going to give you dimensions on it, which are useful. All right, let's go to text. Wherever you click on the top, it changes. Remember in Tinkercad we had this work field? Well, this is doing the same thing, but it knows immediately that if you put text there, that's where you want it. So we're going to type text. All right, we're going to type example. I'm going to make it only 4 millimeters in height. Say OK. There it is. So there's example. and you can edit the text. And when you edit the text, you can do things like spin it around like this, which is kind of cool. All right. You can also, well, this is pressor pulling that. We'll get that down the road, but go back to text. Let's put something on the top. Let's go ahead and change up here so it's easy for us to see. Specify the text position. You can circle it around. Say I want it like right there. And I say this is top. And you can say OK. So there it is. Go ahead and try some top things. Try putting some text on there, please. Okay, how are we doing there? John, you spent all this time because you can't remember your Tinkercad account, buddy? Oh, man. Set up a new account. Use a different email. Go back and tell it you lost your Tinkercad email. Well, okay, download it later. If you have to use a different email, just set up a new email. Probably not a bad idea to write down their names and your passwords on a sheet of paper and you keep it in your dresser drawer or something. But that way, if whenever you can't remember, you can go back and look at it. Then it's frustrating like that where you lose it, you forget. I know I do. All right, good. Whatever works. Some people signed in. I got someone saying they signed in with their Facebook. Whatever works for you guys. Make sure you're a friend on Facebook. I'm going to start putting up more stuff that we're doing. All right, now, let me see where we are on this. Okay, that's a little more time here. All right, I'm just going through our PowerPoint slides. You've done all this now by now. You know fit, you know materials, you know show. Always keep the grid on. Don't get rid of it. We'll get to that about locking it down in the next lesson. Geometric shapes. remember, you click on your shape, then you give it the length, width, and height, and then you click where you want it. So you pick your shape, you give it the length, width, and height by just type in the numbers. It'll fall over and then tab over. All right, and then there's the fit. Not surprisingly, materials and outlines, materials only. Now it has outlines. I think this, guess what this does? Outlines only. There you go. It's got just an outline. Wow, there's a shock, right? Okay. Click once on a box to select it. Again, we pull it out through these arrows to pull along these three axes. All right. X is right, Y is up, there's Z off the Workplane grid. Click and drag. Do multiple axes at the same time. Just grabbing it by what's on the axes. There you have uniform. It makes everything by a factor of 2, but if you want each side, each dimension, there's 3 dimensions here, you can do them each separately. That's non-uniform scaling. Again, that hides the object. If you're going to use materials, be sure to remove apply overlay. You'll get a much better. Looks pretty cool. And then you can start adding dimensions. Like I mentioned before, you got to use this green arrow to get rid of things. Mesh mixtures, which we don't have, CD printer, we'll get those down the road. All right. You know, you got to keep using these so you get this. We just added the text icon. That was this icon right here. All right. Then you can say, you know, you can either add text on your Workplane or on the object. You can write on the Workplane, click once on the Workplane, and you can actually write words on the Workplane, or you can write them on the object. So there's a hi, which if you want to try right now, you can. You know, you can rotate, change the text, do the whole 9 yards with it. Okay. Let me see if someone's asking, do I have a favorite TV show? Trying to think. I like science fiction shows. You know, I like a show, but it's appropriate for middle schoolers. You had Game of Thrones. So like a little bit of that. Like probably my favorite TV show is college football. That's probably what I like. All right. And if you can write on the face, if you click on the face, it'll hover over it, which is something we just did. We put more than one object together, we will need to group these objects. Grouping puts together several objects and melds them in one. Again, just like Tinkercad. And you can move a grouped object, just like Tinkercad. You can, if you don't have it grouped and you try to move it, you're going to have a mess. And we're going to break down sphere of a cat the whole 9 yards here. And that's what you're going to do in your next lesson. We're going to make the little parts that make up that cat, and then down the road, hopefully get the 3D print them. Okay? Let me see here. What are your guys' favorite TV shows and movies? Because it's now 8:55. This is as far as we're going to get today. We'll start up with this cat next lesson and take it from there. Okay? So nobody has to, if you want to be done now, you can. I'll probably start recording it, but I'll answer your questions. If you can tell me what your favorite TV show and movie is, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but I'm not ending the webinar. Okay? Well, that was great. I don't think that was recording. That's hopefully, let me go ahead and stop the recording.